Hey there, Space Cadets. This is Andrew Pauly, creator of Galaxafreaks, and today in this video we're going to look at how to draw a Galaxafreak. But who are they? Who are these Galaxafreaks? Well, if you're not familiar with my comic, let's have a quick look on my website, Galaxafreaks.com. Let's go down here. Freakiest dudes this side of the Big Bang. Let's click on there and have a look, see if we can find out some more information about these interstellar weirdos. Alright, this is the baby. Now the whole story, Galaxafreak stories, take part within this baby's head, and it's the size of a Higgs boson particle. However, the Galaxafreaks themselves are galactic in size and in fact can scale to any cosmic size, from the size of the universe or the multiverse to any reality, right down to subatomic levels. Pretty far out, I think you'll agree. Right, there are three main Galaxafreaks. You can see them here. There's Optic, Ringzola and Captain Yeah. So let's have a look at them one at a time. Optic's here, this girl here, she's got these weird little claws, magical claws. You can see her fighting some space dude here. She's pretty cool, she's pretty silly. She likes to play a game called Freak Ball, which you can read about in issue 1. Ringzola, well, he's a bit of a strange, quiet dude, and you can see he's got planets for eyes, which is pretty far out, and his third eye is where all his power is. He's pretty cool. I haven't done a lot with him yet in the comics. Hopefully in the next issue he'll have his own story maybe. And the main man, my favourite and most people's favourite, is Captain Yeah. He's a full-on trans-dimensional hero, and he can he's got a whole range of different avatars. He can take different forms and different shapes, and he's going to be the main focus of what we're drawing today. We're going to draw our own version of Captain Yeah. So when I'm drawing, I draw digitally, and I use this program. It's called Sketchbook Pro by Autodesk, and it's a really cool drawing software. It's a little bit different from Photoshop, and it's much more focused towards artists and drawing rather than digital effects, and it's got a whole range of really fantastic features. One of the best things about it, of course, is there's a free version. You can download it for free, and it's pretty cool. Or you can get a year subscription for, what's that, $25? That's what, I don't know, 18 quid maybe in English money? I don't know, let's see. Anyway, so let's hop on over to Sketchbook, and we're going to have a go at drawing out a Captain Yeah. I'm cheating a little bit. I've got one really faint in the background, but let's have a look. I'm going to start off with a pencil here. We've got a whole range of tools here, like different things with them there. I've got some custom brushes for some stars. If you read my comic, you'll see a lot of these shapes, weird googly eyes, spots and dots. You've got smudgy brushes, spray brushes. It's absolutely really cool. You've got a whole range of different colours that you can choose from as well. You can blur and smudge stuff together. It's a really great fun program. But anyway, when I'm drawing out a page in Galaxafreaks, I normally start with a pencil and a sort of lighter colour, maybe like a pink, and I'm just going to use my faint image to help me sketch out this Captain Yeah here. So I always start off nice and rough and loose, sketch things out really quickly and work out how things are going to look. So this is his hand here. He's going to be giving out, I don't know, some sort of sonic love blast maybe. Okay, his eyes there, his headphones, sort of sonic Galaxaphones here, and I think we'll give him some wings today. He doesn't always have wings, but today he will. Right, so there we go. So I'll do that one quite rough, pretty quick, get some dynamic movement going in there, you know. I'm not that happy with the eye there, that's not right, is it? So quickly rub that out, try again, work with that circle shape and think a little bit more on the proportions there. One eye there, one there, his nostrils in, and we'll get his bottom of his skull mouth in there. That's a bit better, isn't it? It's going to be fighting against some interstellar bad vibe dude, so we'll have to make him frown and look pretty serious. Okay, and why not? Let's give him a third eye this time. Always good to have your third eye open, you never know when you're going to need that cosmic power. Let's move that out of the way. Lots of rays shooting out. So that's pretty cool. I'm happy with that for my rough layer. And I'm going to take that opacity down there, that opacity. I'm going to choose a different colour now. Got a new level. Go for a darker blue. Don't know why, I always draw in blue. I think it's because traditionally hand-drawn animators, they always draw in blue, don't they? Because it doesn't show up on the photocopier or something. I don't know. I just like to draw like that. So I start off, I'm going to work in those details a little bit more now, where things are going to go. And shape of the skull coming around. Third eye bulging with cosmic psychic weirdness. Okay. Now, one of the good features, which we'll look at in a moment in Sketchbook, is that it has a really great ellipse tool, which I find invaluable. Okay, so there, a bit more detail in his foot there, some creases in the knee. This one sort of sweeping around, coming around there. It's got a bit of a fat belly. It's a bit like me. He likes his pies and his beer. Alright, so work. It's not looking that much more detailed, is it? Let's work on that hand a little bit there. Of course, working on layers is great. Now, I'm doing this on the computer, of course, but for some of you, you can use the same rules really apply whilst working in pencil. You know, you don't have to have whiz-bang computers. However, that Sketchbook program that I've just shown you also is available on tablet for free, and it works really well on the tablet as well, so you might want to get your hands on that. That's starting to look pretty cool, isn't it? I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so wings. Let's start working in those feathers. A few more feathers there. Cool. We won't worry about the rays because I'm going to do that with some effects later. And we're more or less ready to start inking this now, or digitally inking it. So I'm going to take my pen tool, choose a black, and I'm going to use this smooth stroke here. Now, the smooth stroke's a really good tool. I'm going to start a new layer. Smooth stroke, you can see, makes a really nice smooth line, and the higher I make the number, so the more curved it becomes. Okay, I tend to just put it down really low to about 11, and that just combats the sort of the shake in my hand, or sort of the unsteadiness of my natural style. So now I'm going to start inking Captain Yeah. Okay, now really nice smooth lines, and you try to get a nice feathered line. Feathered line, which isn't that. Feathered line is where you start thin, go fat, and take the pressure off and go thin again. It gives you a nice, interesting ink line. Okay, it's looking a bit better there. Around on his nostrils. So I tend to do the outline first, basic lines, and then we'll go in and add a little bit more detail, though my style is quite strong and quite bold, so I don't always have an awful lot of detail. I'm just going to spin that around so I can get a better angle. There we go. And a nice steady line down there, Paulie. There you go, lovely. Right, put that back, see what that looks like. Okay, that's pretty cool. I might just put in a few lines here just to help show that leg off properly. Right, to the hands, my favourite bit. So zoom in nicely there. Nice big wide thumb. Mark out the knuckle. And then one finger. Always go for the 3-finger rule. Sort of Simpsons sort of style. Anything more than 3 fingers just ends up getting complicated for simple cartoonists like me. Unless, of course, there's some sort of weird trans-dimensional monster that's got multi-limbs and 7 or 8 fingers on each limb. Or perhaps even fingers coming out of their head. Why not? Okay. So that's that one done. Come over and do this one here now. Now, sometimes drawing hands is really difficult because you sketch it out and you think, yeah, in the sketch it looks really good, but actually when you come to make each individual finger stand out, it suddenly becomes really hard. Now, you know, I've been drawing for years and I still find myself in little sticky situations like that. Perhaps I'm not very disciplined and a bit sloppy in my style, I don't know. Okay. Right, now I'm going to move on to some more details on its head, and I'm going to use the ellipse tool, which I mentioned earlier, which is really, really fantastic. It helps me get really nice, smooth, circular shapes. And again, using a feathered line there, look. Move in to do the pupils, making it more of an ellipse to give it some 3D shape, some perspective. Move it over to the side a little bit. Okay, little highlight in his pupil there. Fill that in, great. Back to it, and then the eyes. So a nice ellipse, nice curve. Put that at a nice angle. And then draw that around, just too low. Bring it up. Now I'm going to move over to the side like that. This is a little technique I use when I'm drawing sort of skulls and things, because it just shows a some depth, thickness to the bone, as it were. And same on the other side, but of course keeping it at the same side, so it's got some correct perspective, correct angle. Alright, I'll turn off some of these layers now to see what that's looking like. So that's starting to look pretty cool. I'll keep the pink layer on because sometimes it helps with some description. Alright, and back to my smooth stroke to do this part here. And I think I'm going to use the ellipse tool to do around his head there. Look. So I'll go up to there, up to there. Finish that off, again there. Okay, and then on to his Galaxaphones, these weird headphones he's got. I don't know why I added them on. I think in one of the earlier Captain Year stories that's not in the Galaxafreaks comics, but is in the web comics, the Captain Year web comics, he was a robot in one of the, sort of took a robot avatar in one of the issues and sort of drew these sort of phones. I really liked them, so they stayed on there now. Again, using that ellipse tool, look, you can see how I used that to add some details, some curves, so it just looks like it's got a nice bit of curvature to it. Okay, and then steady stroke, smooth stroke right up so that I can get a nice smooth line down, a nice angle, and then a thinner line there. Okay, it's looking pretty rad. I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, need to save it. I haven't saved it. Crikey. Yeah. Shoot. Brilliant. Alright, so moving on. Wings. I enjoy drawing wings in a stylized fashion. I like drawing the curves and the feathered lines. So I've still got a smooth stroke up quite high there for that part, and then bring it down. I'm just going to turn that off and then turn it down so that I can get some more detail. Alright, so I've been drawing Galaxafreaks for about a year now. Captain Year has existed probably for about 2-3 years. But before that I did lots of paintings and things and lots of mixed media work. So moving on to a digital format is something relatively new for me. And for those of you that don't have those sort of facilities, it's great to work with a pen and pencil and paper, just as I do in my sketchbook every day anyway. So add those teeth in. Okay, and I think that's the sort of the main ink section's done. Brilliant. Now I'm going to make my pen a little thinner. I'm going to start adding just a few minor lines just to add some interest and some definition, show the curvature of some parts, add some detail around the nose. Accentuate some curves. Okay. So we're going to be ready to start colouring this scene. Alright, I think a little bit more on the hand there, and then that's the ink's done. Okay, brilliant. Right, okay, you have to excuse my noises. I like to make noises whilst I draw to explain the curves. You can't see me, but I've got my tongue poked out most of the time as well. Right, okay. Let's add some paint onto this. So I've got a layer here, you can see here, that's got the ink on it. We've got those other layers turned off. I'm going to add a layer underneath. I'm going to select my inking layer, take the magic wand tool, I'm going to select, not to forget to select that little bit in the arm, invert, take the fill tool. I like to take a nice purpley grey to start off with, but fill it on the wrong layer. There we go. Deselect, and I'm going to lock the transparency on there. What does that mean? It means that if I take another colour, if I unlock the transparency, if I take another colour, I can just scribble all over that layer, which looks quite cool in a pop art way. But if I lock the transparency, it only allows me to draw on those areas that I want to work on. Right, so I'm going to take this brush tool here, which is one of my favourites here. I'm going to start off with adding some shade, some tone, which always ends up being a little bit random, but just add some shade, take some tone onto it. So I'm going to think about my light source, which if I just whack a little bit of yellow up here, that's my light source there. Okay. And so we're going to think about where the shade is going to be in response to that light source. I'm sure you remember that from your art classes about tone and shade and depth. It doesn't matter too much when you're drawing a comic book about trans-dimensional super being, but even so, we do want it to look quite effective and reasonably realistic. Okay, so that's just marking it out. Now, Captain Year's suit is orange, his earphones are pink, and his head is, well, it's a skull colour. Now, I tend to, for the skull, work in a sort of turquoisey colour to start off with, and we're going to build this up to sort of jadey turquoise, build this up to white, and we're going to use this to help with some shade. So you can see here now how I'm starting to approach that. So building in from those darker areas, coming into the lighter sections slowly. And I believe we can build that up. Now, working digitally, painting digitally for me is similar to working in acrylic paint or oil paint, or an opaque media where you start dark and build up your layers gradually, lightly, sort of the opposite to watercolour. So here I'm going to build up the tonal value in colour from dark to light. Add a little bit of blue, which will later complement the orange of his suit. Okay, so now just getting into that white or that lighter off-white colour. I like it to be rough. I like this to be not very smooth, lots of texture, lots of layers coming through. Sometimes I might just randomly add a few bits of texture here and there, and then paint over them and let some of those come through. That's looking pretty nice. I like that. Then go back to my brush work and probably end up going over most of it. Okay. A little bit light in some areas. And I'm going to go back to my pen tool, select the white, and then really add some highlights on there. I think for the eye this time I'm just going to colour that in without any texture. I think we'll go for quite a strong blue. Take off the smooth stroke. So this is all behind the pen layer. So I can be pretty loose with it. And I'll take an orange for the inside of his eye. A bit of white in there as well. It looks a little bit too flat, doesn't it? So I'm going to take darker blue and just blend that in a little bit, like smash it with a little highlight at the top. There you go. Cool. Right. Save. I'm very good at saving. Right. The pink. I like to add some complementary colour underneath sometimes. So I'm going to, although his headphone is pink, I'm going to start with that sort of orangey green there. And then go over it with a nice deep hot pink. I'll probably end up, as I said earlier, covering up most of it, but it's more to do with my working practices, my idiosyncrasies. And then some highlights. Okay, I see the Galaxaphones. Right, and in the same vein, with his orange suit, start with a nice blue, dark blue, and some of those shades. And, you know, those complementary colours help each other pop out. So I'll get some of that dark blue in there. And I'll start with the dark orange. I'm going to build that up to the lighter yellowy orange with lots of textures, and we'll add some details on there. Okay, so that's nice and thick and rich. Similar way to I paint. Another. It's really important to consider that light source, to consider what you're doing. Although you're working loosely, to think about final effects. So, okay, starting to get lighter. Bring on the highlight on that round belly. Sometimes just those really quick strokes are the best ones, and you want to just leave them as they are. Right, and let's add some texture, a little bit lighter yellow, and some of that there. Bit of that pink, I think, some of that hot pink. With that nice, it's coming down here, gives it a nice neon, slight glow effect to it. Okay. needs to be a little bit lighter in places. So, extra highlight. Now, of course, his hand later is going to be immersed in some sort of a sonic blast, so I don't know if I'm going to lose some of that detail or not. So also we've got a really nice cross-hatching tool here as well, which gives you to do some sketching. Looks like you've been spending hours doing some shading, some cross-hatching, and actually it's just one brush. Cool. Okay. Sometimes it's good to do that on another layer, in case you make a mistake. Alright, brilliant. Alright, those wings. Let's start off with a nice lilac, I think. And these are going to be white, or more or less white. Okay. Bring that down. There we go. That's him, isn't it? More or less done. So let's start thinking about some additional effects. So this is sort of cosmic blast, his background. And let's get this done and finished and wrapped up. So I'm going to just delete that light source now. I don't want that. Let's do a quick select around there. Now you can set the background to a nice darker colour. Let's choose something like that maybe. A bit darker even. Let's start moving these around a little bit. Don't need that. I'm probably going to use the picker. So let's move him over here. Alright, I'm going to start a new layer behind. I'm going to do a background first of all in a different colour, slightly lighter blue. Nice wobble. Fill that in. Boom. Close that transparency, and now I can start to play with this background a bit, make this look a bit spacey. So let's get the size up on this random here. Set the hue randomization, so get a load of different colours each time, although that size is pretty enormous. Look at that, so I've randomised the hue. Makes it really nice. I like that a lot, that's pretty cool. What we'll do later is bring this into Photoshop and deal with the layers in a little slightly different way. Another layer, I'm going to take that crosshatch tool, which one was it, that one, I'm going to add a little bit of darker cross-hatching onto there. A little bit darker, more, let's go right down to black and make it a bit larger. So that's going out quite randomly and quite freely. It's just going to juxtapose against the bright sonic boom, whatever you want to call it, that's going to happen now. So speaking of which, let's get on with his supersonic powers. So I'm going to do one layer above his the ink layer for his hand. Again, I'm going to take that dot tool, spot tool, random weirdness tool, and I'm going to, it's too big, isn't it? So I'm going to just do that slightly randomly around here. So it looks like some sort of energy build up. Now, I'm losing all that detail on the hand, but I can change the layer style to screen. There, look, and I get a really nice effect. I'm going to take the stars. Again, add some of those stars. Maybe some of those coming out of his other hand as well. And I'm going to go to the layer below the paint. I'm going to use the ruler tool. I'm going to use this. I'm going to delete that out of the way. I'm going to use this as a guide to do his cosmic blasts. So, do that in a range of colours and a range of pens. Start off with the ink pen first of all. different angles. Coming up, nice bright, lovely rainbow colours. Strong and colourful. You can't be scared of colour if you're going to be a Galaxafreaks artist. So let's now use a more random freeform tool. It's looking pretty good, isn't it? And then let's get some more of those stars coming off. Bit too many there. One more one on there. There you go. Right, okay, so let's have a review and see how we're doing. That's looking pretty good, isn't it? I'm pretty happy with that. I think I won't bother with Photoshop. What I am going to do though is one more thing. I'm going to take my pen tool. I'm going to take a bright colour. That pink was pretty nice actually. Make that a bit lighter. On the steady stroke, make my pen tool a little bit larger. I'm going to add an outline to some parts of Captain Yeah. Sometimes in Photoshop I'll just add a single stroke all around the outline of the characters, but this time I think I'll just do a few lines here and there so it makes the outline of the body stand out against the colour of the background. Change the colour slightly, go for a yellow. Okay, where else should we go? I'm not going to do it around his hand, but perhaps around the bottom there. One more stroke there. Come on. Lovely. Okay, cool. Well, let's have a look at that. Let's close off all these. Bring it down. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty cool. So that's how we draw Captain Yeah. I really enjoyed doing that. It's the first time I've ever done a tutorial like that, so I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. If you've got any questions about what I've talked about, or if you've would like me to draw another Galaxafreak character, then drop us a line on this channel. Don't forget to pop over to Galaxafreaks.com. You can go to the shop and you can buy issues of the comic there. Issue 3 has just come out. Some good examples of it there. That's a Rainbow Streak. You can also find yourself t-shirts, toys, all sorts of weird and wonderful things on there. Okay, Space Cadets, thanks a lot. Take care. Speak to you soon. Goodbye.